Hi everyone, hope you guys are all having a great day today. In today's video, I'm going to cover the whole entire market in terms of the S&P 500 and Nasdaq, and specifically SPY, which is the ETF for S&P 500, and QQQ, which is the ETF for Nasdaq. And I'm going to go over 10-year Treasury, economic calendar, and crude oil. Hopefully you guys like the video. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you do, consider dropping a like. It does help the channel, so thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. In terms of economic news, before I get to in terms of the technicals, we have the PPI, so inflation numbers for producers. It came in higher than expected. Previously it was 0.2, was expecting 0.3, got 0.5. PPI year over year, previously 1.8, got 2.2, and core PPI, it was previously 0.2, expecting 0.2, and got 0.4. And then core PPI year over year, 2.8 previously, and got 3.8. Now, these were all before at 8:30 a.m. And then at 9:10 a.m. we have Fed Gov Lisa Cook speak, and at 10 a.m. we have Fed Chair Jerome Powell speak. So kind of a big day. And tomorrow we have CPI numbers, so consumer price index. So what's going to happen for the most part, in my opinion, I think today's going to be just pretty much going lower, especially towards the end of the day, expecting for CPI. The problem is because the reason why is inflation is higher than expected for producers, and then it could trickle down to consumers. Obviously, naturally it does. And what's going to happen is the market is expecting at least one interest rate cut for this year. We were expecting, in terms of the market, was expecting multiple interest rate cuts for this year. Now we've dwindled down to one, potentially zero. And I still think that the Fed, in my opinion, wouldn't want to cut interest rates for this year, just because they're trying to get to their target of 2% inflation rate. In terms of inflation numbers, they're trying to get to 2%. Currently, we're at 3 point something. And for them to do that, I don't see a reason to cut interest rates. But to satisfy the market, I think they're going to still be almost feeling the pressure to cut at least once. But if the inflation numbers are showing that they're not slowing down, and in fact increasing still, less likely that they will. And the market is realizing that. And hypothetically, the market will go lower due to that factor. Now, if we go to 10-year Treasury, we're at 4.455%. And then crude oil is at $78.48 per barrel. Now, in terms of SPY and QQQ, I'm going to go over the QQQ first and then go over SPY after that. We closed at $443.08. Pre-markets at $42.80. Now, in terms of, I'll show the 5-year just quickly, just for the new viewers, just in case. In terms of the 5-year chart, same for the SPY basically. Dates back since 2010, upward trend resistance line, upward trend support level, stuck between the channel for the most part, except for Nasdaq/QQQ. We did break through in 2020 to 2022, and then came back underneath and got knocked down, and then hypothetically going back up to level. Now for SPY/S&P 500, it was stuck between the channel, never broke through. Maybe a small false breakout, but nothing crazy. In terms of 5-year, like the long term, I believe it's pointing to the upside in terms of MAC line movement. Yeah, trying to curve up to the upside, but little bit slight curve to the downside for the most part. But then in the bullish movement as well for the 1 year. So long term, hypothetically showing to the upside. As always, for the most part, as you saw for the 10-year channel, ultimately it's going up anyway for the most part, right? But in terms of short term, we see downside for 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, and then more specifically 3 month have an upward trend support level. We see support right here, resistance right here, and resistance right here. So this channel, or not channel, but upward trend support / resistance definitely is in play. And we have a horizontal resistance level right here, multiple touch points, not the cleanest, but at the same time, you pretty much get the idea. And you can see touch points, test back, knock down, knock down, knock down. And then we're approaching all-time highs. So that's even another bigger factor. So pretty much $450. Again, we're sitting at $443 price point before the market opens. And to reach that high level, we need inflation to be lower to pretty much give the market a boost in confidence that the Fed will cut interest rates. And that is not happening. So there's already resistance at the 450 to go to all-time highs, right? Just to show visually, that would make us all-time highs, right? To pass 450 previous all-time highs. And that is already a major resistance on its own. And to get past these resistance, that's going to be quite difficult as well. So the first resistance that we need to pass, which we've had issues passing, small false breakouts, but nonetheless, it's pretty much at the $444 price point. Again, it takes as long as it takes, like the longer it takes, the higher the high will be in terms of resistance. So this is just recent, so 444, and obviously keeps going up to 445, 446, and so on and so forth. And then the horizontal level, give or take about the range of 446. Now, if you've seen my past videos, there is a pocket between 446 and 448. That pocket alone is going to be difficult to pass, and then plus the 450 in general for all-time high. Now to the downside, which is most likely what's going to happen, if we don't find the support at the 440, 439 when I checked it, then ultimately I think by the end of the day, because CPI numbers are coming out tomorrow, plus we have Jerome Powell speaking at 10 a.m. today, I think what's going to happen by the end of the day, in my opinion, again, this is just my opinion. Please do your own due diligence and research before buying and selling. But I think we'll end up trickling down to pretty much, you could see the sector right about here, multiple bounce offs around this range of the moving average as well, around the 435, 434. Now we do have a support packet at the 432, 433 to rely on. And then ultimately, if we trickle down lower, there's a 430, 429. I don't think that's going to happen personally. But if we do, then hopefully the CPI number is good tomorrow, because then there's more downside overall. So it's higher than expected tomorrow CPI, then more drop down. If it's better than expected somehow, then we'll be bouncing back up. But yeah, that's for the QQQ / Nasdaq. Now in terms of SPY, VIX, by the way, volatility index is sitting at 13.68 points right now for the time being. So it's still on the low side. But it could obviously adjust when the market opens. Now, in terms of SPY / S&P 500, same thing applies. 5-year channel. I'll just show it for the new viewers again, just in case. Since 2010, upward trend resistance line, upward trend support. Major crashes were here, upward trend support. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, given election year and all stuff. But we've never broken through, maybe false breakouts a little bit here and there, and we have more room to grow. It's just the S&P 500 tends to not be too volatile for the most part. Now we have a downward trend resistance line that we broke through back in early part of May of this year, and then upward trend resistance line that we've been stuck underneath. Now if we go to the upside, it coincides with the all-time high. So the all-time high for the S&P SPY specifically ETF is around the $526. We closed at $520.91. After hours, we are up actually, which is pretty impressive somehow, unless this is incorrect. I believe this is incorrect, but it's $521.13. Again, $521.13. And if we were to go up, I do not think personally we're going to hit the $420 or go past $425, $426 price point, because again, we have the CPI numbers, which are inflation numbers for consumers, coming out tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. And so given that, 526 would be the highest in my opinion. Now, if we were to go to the downside, for the most part, there is support at the 518, but it would trickle down, in my opinion, by the end of the day to 515 price point, give or take. Now, if you think it's all doom and gloom, there is support at the 511, 512 pocket kind of thing, which coincides with this moving average. I just don't think we're going to go that low. Again, I think more likely the case is, unless Jerome Powell states something, I probably should clarify that. I mean, hopefully the ones who are watching for the Nasdaq / QQQ are still sticking around. If Jerome Powell states something that's negative, which he tends to not, he's more neutral. It's just more like anything could happen. We're assessing by the data all the time, date by date kind of thing. So it's almost always neutral. It's nothing crazy if you really think about it. So most likely there won't be a crazy reaction unless he slips up and says something. And if that's the case, then we would go more to the downside and hopefully bounce off this downward trend resistance line. There is a lot of support on the way down anyway, but at the same time, this almost coincides with the major support of 507. So I'll keep you guys posted, probably through community posts or X posts as well. But for the time being, I think the 512, 511 packet would hold us if the 515 doesn't hold us. I don't think anything would crazy drop, just because, again, more anticipation. I don't think anything's crazy going to happen. But we're looking at 518, then 515, and then ultimately 512, 511. If you think it's going to drop dramatically to the downside, coinciding with horizontal support / moving average as well. That's basically it for today's video, though. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully you guys like it. If you do, consider dropping a like. It does help the channel, so thank you so much for that. And I do post these daily for the most part. So if you want to be considered to be updated when I do post them, consider following me on X and YouTube. Appreciate it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.